Welcome to another edition of the NEL Show. My name is Ogechi and I'm grateful to have you here today. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure. All right. I'm grateful to have you here today. We are going to be having the topic that we're supposed to have last week, which is live in the north, but we were not able to have it last week as a result of our guest's network interruption, the bit of network interruption that she was having. But this week it is much, much better. And yes, I'm happy that you are joining us again, and we're going to have a great time. Why this topic is very important is because, just like I was saying in my write-up last week, a lot of people do not consider, especially people living in the southwest, do not consider the importance of taking the north along with any development that we are having in Nigeria. So when we're talking about certain changes or development, if some people are not thinking Lagos, they are thinking of the region where they are staying. And Nigeria is bigger than that, especially the north being a very large space of our geographical parts of our nation. So today we're going to be having a heart-to-heart conversation. We're going to be having a heart-to-heart conversation, just learning about the north. So we're going to really be learning the basics. We're going to be learning the basics. So if you want to move to the north, if you know somewhere there, if you are considering, or if you've been considering going there for something, maybe to start up an organization or to start up a foundation or a course, we will try to learn a lot and enough that we can learn from Ogechi today. Okay, Ogechi will be joining us right now. She's not here right now. Let me send her a message. She already sent a text message that she's here, so she's ready. So I'm trying to text her. She's online, so I'm trying to text her to join our live video so that I can add her to our conversation. Okay, yay, she's here. So I'm just going to add her right now so that we can go straight to it. Let me wave. Yes, okay. Adding her right now. All right. Okay. Maybe network. It must be network. Okay, good. Okay, she's back, so I would add yes, I'm going to add her right now. Okay.
Hi, Nkechi.
Gee, I'm so happy to finally have you here. Thank you.
I know, right?
Yes, thank you. And your attire is
My
really nice.
pleasure.
Your attire is nice. I'm liking the what you are wearing. I like what you are wearing. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay.
I can hear you. Though it's
You can
breaking a
hear me.
bit, but I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you so much again. Okay, so we will just welcome Salem. We will just read out your profile and go straight to the questions that we have for you regarding our topic. Okay, Ogechi Olumese loves God, people, and new experiences. She's passionate about seeing people's lives radically changed for the better by the power of the gospel, especially around northern Nigeria. She obtained her
Yeah.
first degree in computer engineering from the prestigious Covenant University, Nigeria, where she also had the privilege of serving as a female chaplain for the entire student population of about 7,000 students, 7,500 students for a 1 year period. She also has a master's degree in educational leadership and management from Manchester Metropolitan University, United Kingdom. Ogechi is the biological mother of two wonderful children, and she's considered by many more as a spiritual mother and mentor. Ogechi now serves as associate lead pastor at Life Church in Kano State, in Kano State, alongside our dearest husband, Pastor Olumese. Together, they co-authored the amazing Victory Everyday Devotional, which is used by many around the world and is a blessing and is blessing many lives every single day. Thank you again, Ogechi, for joining us. Okay, for those who don't know you, I would like you to please start with how you even moved to the north. So how and why did you even move to the north? Of course, specifically Kano State, where you are right now. How did it happen for you?
Okay. Thank you very much, Nkechi, for having me on the show. How did I move to Kano? It's a long story. Okay, so when I was younger, I grew up in Lagos. I grew up in Lagos. I was born and brought up in Lagos. Did primary school, Lagos. Everything was like secondary school was boarding house in Lagos. University was Covenant, which is Lagos slash Ogun State, but you can still say Lagos, right?
Yes.
While I was in secondary school, I can remember secondary school stroke when I went to the university. I have memories of myself just knowing, just telling my siblings, even my mom, then that I want to go to Bauchi, I want to go to Sokoto, I want to go to. I used to say things like, I used to call northern states, and I literally used to say, I want to leave this Lagos and go to,
Oh,
and I'll
wow.
mention the states. So I always knew, let's just say in my heart, God put a desire for northern Nigeria in me, and it has been there for a long time, even before I moved down to Kano. So what finally got me to move down here was after I got married to my husband. So I'd never been to Kano until we did our wedding. Our wedding was in Lagos in November 2016. Immediately after our wedding, the next week we moved. I moved and we came together. That was my first time of stepping into Kano. And prior to that time, I had never been to any northern state. To be honest, the only place I could say I've been to, which can pass for north, is Abuja. But Abuja is not really north.
Yes.
But let's just say, what I would say is that I knew that I was going to come here. I knew that I was going to come to northern Nigeria. I didn't know which state to be precise, but I knew that God would have me move to the north to do something for Him around northern Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ogechi. Apart from those living in the north, there's usually a vague idea about what the, by most people in the Southwest, about what the North looks like, or what happens in the North. So for some, they think it's the home of Almajiris. For others, they think it's just where Boko Haram people stay and kill people. For others, they think, oh, it's just one place where there's gender inequality. So using a case study of Kano State, can you give us as much details as possible what Kano has been for you? So what Kano looks like, what the life there is like, electricity, day-to-day life system. What is it like living in Kano, especially you that have stayed in Lagos before?
Okay, so I can agree that many people think that Kano and northern Nigeria in general just is the place for Boko Haram where they kill people.
Yes.
As if that thing happens here. Yeah, so when I have the opportunity, I like to educate people that look, there's life happening here.
Yeah.
The life is as fast paced as Lagos life or as life in most big cities, like in the Southwest or Port Harcourt and Abuja and the rest of them. The life is slower around here, as in you don't have so much traffic, for example.
Okay.
Traffic can never be compared to Lagos traffic, for example. Terrible. And when I first came and I got a teaching job, which is about 30 minutes drive from my house. And I tell people, when people ask me where do you live, and I tell them where I live, and they're like, that's so far, you must be trying. I'm like, far? You don't know what far is.
Wow.
Go to Lagos and sleep in the traffic for 1 hour or 2 hours, and then you know what is far. Yeah. So here, the life, things are cheap. Yes, there are a lot of Almajiris on the roads, and honestly, whenever I step out and I see lots and lots of them, in fact, and right now, for example, it is December and we're entering that cold season, that cold that is almost can be likened to the UK or somewhere else, but it's really cold in the mornings from 6 p.m. downwards up until 7 a.m. the next day. It's really cold, and you see them sometimes they're still outside. Most of them don't wear shoes. I mean, they carry these small plates around for people to perhaps drop things around, little change stuff for them. And many times when people go to market and they have to buy a lot of things, they just get the next one to just carry load for them to where they are going and pay some small change. Yes, a lot of the people here are not as educated as in the big cities. And even those that are able to get into schools, especially in the public school system, the classes are overwhelming. They are overwhelmed. In other words, the number of children in each class is too much for the class to contain. And that's because over here, they have the population. After Lagos, Kano State, for example, is the next biggest city in terms of population. And because of the polygamous system, where one man, for example, can have up to 4 wives, a man 30 children in some cases, and so they have those large families, and there is that problem where some of the families cannot even cater for all the children that they have. Sometimes children are just supposed to fend for themselves, and that can be sad. Yeah, so that's what life in the north can be like. Of course, some people come here. I've had friends and family come from Lagos or Abuja. Like, this place is so boring. In other words, the life here is not as happening as it is where they're coming from. But it all depends on how you see it. For example, I can be very quiet. I can be someone who likes my own space. So in a sense, I really like the city. Just making the most of it, and I have nothing to complain about, and I'm just really where God has brought me right now.
Okay. So Ogechi, please, can you give us an idea of people hear about, especially in the Southwest, we hear about Almajiris, but who are they? Who are they really? Who are they? If you can help us out, are they people that I don't know, the parents gave birth to and they don't want to fend for them? Or who are these set of people called almajiris?
Okay, so the almajiri. Okay, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can. I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, so the almajiris are children that usually, because here in the north, there's something they say, because I also work in a school. So there's something you might hear a parent say that this Western education teaches you the way of the world.
Oh, okay.
Islamic education teaches you the way of life.
Okay.
So they have that the Islamia or the Islamic education is even more important than going to the normal English Western school. And so that over here, they really value children learning about the Quran, being able to recite perhaps the whole Quran. The more verses from the Quran that you can recite, the more holy, respected. I mean, if a father can say that all his children can quote a lot of verses, or perhaps they can recite the whole Quran, it is a symbol of respect for the father from the north over here. So they really value that Islamic education. And so the Almajiri is born out of that system where they really want their children to learn that Islamic education, sometimes at the expense of their education, of their English education, at the expense of their health. And, you know, it is in this region, we find that children from out of state, for example, maybe Bauchi, Sokoto, are being brought over here to the state to learn about the Quran, to be taught that Islamic education. And so normally what you see normally if you're walking around and you might just pass a tree, you might see a malam with a lot of children, mostly boys. But they also have the ones that girls can go to. You know, they don't normally teach the boys and the girls together. They usually have classes separately for the boys. They even have Islamic women, even married women, but theirs is usually indoors, and they have is segregated. So is boys, male and female, don't mix in such scenario. Normally, if you come to a hospital, or they usually have places for men to sit, women to sit, and so many things are separated. So they value that Islamic education a lot, and they could send their children from another state to a malam, for him to coach them and train them. I think they usually try to memorize the Quran before a certain age, perhaps the age of 12 or a certain age. I'm not quite sure about that number right now. But that's really what you find the Islamia, the Almajiri children. Many of them, their parents are not even in this city, but you see them, lots of them just learning. And then when they usually learn in the evening time, so in the daytime they are allowed to just freely roam around and beg. And the thing is, something about this system is that many times when they beg like that, whatever, they are supposed to return the proceeds to their malam. In other words, their malam is supposed to use the money to care for them and stuff like that. But many times it's not even that is not the case. It just feels like they are making money for somebody and they themselves are not well catered.
For.
Many of them don't even wear shoes and they walk around. So even their life is they're not safe. They're not secure. You know, and even in the cold, the weather is not a challenge. They keep going. They keep going out. They keep begging because they just have to survive. They have to survive. So no matter the hazardous situations, they are out on the road looking for a way to survive. To carry load or to do some small menial jobs for people so that they can just get or something to survive. So for them, is they have to find their way to survive. It's not like the normal family in the Southwest where your parents cater for you and provide food for you. Here, as an Almajiri, you have to you have to source your daily existence. So it's really,
Well, thank you so much for helping us to really clarify that, Ogechi, because, we just talk about it here in the Southwest, a lot of people, and we just know about Jews, but we just say, oh, maybe it's a set of people that are just begging. But then you are now able to help us explain and break it down, and that is very useful knowledge. But just to ask you, because I was thinking about it some days ago, before I go to the next question, are there people, I don't know, maybe, can you get them in, maybe get them out of the street, or they're not going to agree, people, their guardians are not going to agree, because I was seeing, like I always see them, especially the area I stay, and I'm just wondering, can't somebody just maybe come to get these children out of the street? Is that something that will be allowed? Or based on what you've shared with me, is something that may be frowned at because of what they're trying to achieve with their lives? I'm just thinking because of their health and their wellness.
it's a very big issue, and it's deeply political. It's deeply
Okay.
political. So the fact that number one, like I said earlier, they value their Islamic education. And even for us in this city in the north, for example, during Christmas, we try to sometimes, not only us, but other churches and Christian organizations try to organize things to visit orphanages, charity homes, as well as to just help Almajiris. But it's almost like anything that you're trying to do for the Almajiris, you have to be very careful about it, because it might be seen that you're trying to Christianize them, and that can even become, they have the Islamic police around here that's called the Hizbah. So it almost feels like you've committed a crime. For example, there was a year we shared slippers and gave them food packs during Christmas. We shared like just the normal bedroom slippers, different sizes for them, and tried to give them food bags. And it almost caused a scene, because it almost looked like they were coming to question why we were doing what we're doing. So it's a deeply political issue, like I said, and because of the religious concerns too. It's not that easy to just say you want to go and pack them and take them off the streets, because they have a malam, like I said, and I think the issues surrounding it's a systemic issue. Because it feels like you want to help, but because of the fact that it's deeply religious and all of that, and because some malams are also making their monies from these people. So it's very sad, but for me, I just believe that the solution, of course, it will come from charity organizations and non-profits and people that want to help, but there also has to be like a policy, do you get, that has to also back it up, where they won't just be left like that, where there has to be, it feels like people have been talking about the Almajiri system, wanting to help, but what has been done over all these years? Do you understand? It's not that people don't want to help, but the forces behind the system are very powerful, and then religious connotations as well. It feels like you're taking them away from learning their Quran and learning about the way of life, the way of life, which I said is very important to them.
Okay, I understand better now. But just like you said, the solution has to be a policy. It's beyond somebody just having compassion or empathy to actually putting it in a national, because like you said, it's political. It's something we have to take on a national basis. Okay. So my next question for you is about the educational system in the North being substandard compared to the South West. Is that true? And what is the current educational system like, truthfully? I'm even glad that you teach in a school as well, so you'll be able to help us out with that. In the North, are there, I know you mentioned about public schools having their classes like filled to the brim. So, but are there private schools over there as well? How does it work? What's like the educational system, and are things getting better? I mean, so since this is 2020, what is it like right now?
Okay, things are getting better. We really must um, acknowledge that, but there's still great room for improvement over here. You know, the standard of education over here is really low compared to what is obtainable in the South. To be honest, there are private schools that are also striving and are also, you know, breaking cutting edge in their own way and trying to break through the, you know, break out of the box of what is the norm in northern Nigeria. And I give them kudos to that. It's not easy. It's not easy, especially because around here, for example, just the mayor, as in the mere English speaker, do you understand? Like the ordinary English speaker is not very easy to come by in Kano, in northern Nigeria. Let me just use this state where I'm in, Kano, for example. Like you have more people being able to speak good English in the South than even in Kano. In Kano, you don't have as much people. And then because of the population, the resources compared to the population over here is there is huge population, and so the supply is not matching up to the demand. And again, because of this, the standard of living over here is lower than the standard of living. This is not just education now. I've talked about the quality of education, but now the standard of living in the North is really low compared to the standard of living in the South. And so that also affects what's obtainable in terms of costs, in terms of number of people who can afford it, and all of that. Yes. So, but there's some private schools that are trying, but you know that more people use the public school system than the private school system. And so because of that, the public schools are not enough. They are not well equipped. They don't have their teachers are not as well trained as teachers in the private school system. For example, during the lockdown that we experienced, most public schools did not even do anything to try to learn. Most public schools, so at least most private schools try to do maybe online WhatsApp or Zoom, or, you know, they try to find a means. But most of the government schools around here, there was no way of communication. It was they were totally left to themselves for the, you know, 6 or 7 week period we had a total lockdown here. Even much more than that, because schools were not open immediately after the lockdown. So the quality of education is something that we trust God that will get better. And even with people like us being in the system, we hope to play our own part too and contribute, you know, by training or, you know, doing some way of contribution, just to make sure that life in the North is also improved, the education system, you know, just to contribute our own quota to that.
Okay, you spoke about standard of living, how it's a bit, at least a case study of Kano is a bit the substandard compared to the other parts of Nigeria, specifically Southwest. What's the practicality of that? What do you mean by that? If you could help to explain, because I know you shared with us earlier on that food is cheaper there. So when you mean standard of living, what parts are you talking about specifically?
Okay, when I mean standard of living, I mean that, okay, for example, the average worker here the average, there is a job that a secondary school graduate can get. There's a job that somebody with a first degree can get, or a master's, and all of that. So if you compare it with what is obtainable in the South, their pay will be maybe up to maybe half or three-quarters of what is obtainable in the South. Yes. But I must also remind you that because the cost of living here is a bit lower, slightly, because of food. Most of the food we eat is grown around here.
Yes.
Even onions, grains, and the rest of them.
Yeah.
Tomatoes. So because of that, it's cheaper around here. And so that also helps because like I said, if somebody doesn't earn as much, but is still able to feed because the prices are lower here, we must actually acknowledge that.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. But in terms of organizations, companies, how much of it do we have in a state like Kano?
In a state like Kano, we actually have, from what I have seen, there even used to be much more industrial, action going on here than now. But even now, we still have some factories. We still have lots of factories in some industrial estate, in some areas like that. We still have a lot of factories. So we have like lots of people working in the factories, like biscuit factories, like tomato paste factory, like plastic, or we have a lot of those type of like textile factories.
Yeah.
Those like nylons and all. We have lots of those factories around here. So most people, there are lots of people who work there, and that also, Kano is known as I believe this center. Well, it just skipped my mind. I think it has to do with business, something about business. Kano is a place of a lot of industrial work going on, and so many people work in those factories. Yeah, many people. There are lots of organizations that go into manufacturing around Kano. So
around Kano.
That, yes.
Okay, so Ogechi, one conversation that has been on for a while for a lot of places, of course, a lot of states in the north, is the conversation about gender, the way gender is viewed, and the way we have gender being treated. For example, boys and girls learn in different classrooms, and then we have the conversation is we have people maybe treat men better than women, or women still treated in a substandard way, as an example. Is that true? And if it is, as an example, why is that? Can you give us some context if that is true, and what is happening to create that kind of environment compared to the Southwest, where things like that are pretty much non-existent anymore? At least people are already having that conversation about it. So it's not something that is, should I say, allowed, so to speak.
Okay. Well, the conversation is also being had around the north, around Kano and northern Nigeria. At the same time. So things are beginning to change. For the Western education, that's the morning classes that people go to, they don't usually separate the boys and girls. Actually, they usually mix up. It's usually like the Islamic section, which most people have in the evening time after their conventional school in the morning.
Okay.
So it's when they're just really trying to respect those Islamic conditions and all of that, that's where you see the separation and the gender segregation.
Okay.
Yes. The thing is, around here, they have a mentality. There's this mentality of girls. It's really changing now. But before, there was a high rate of early child marriage, where a girl could be married off as early as 15 or even earlier. And what I've noticed, even in my conversations with some female Kano indigenes, is that they see themselves as nothing until they get married.
Oh.
So, like, even believe that they have anything to offer or any value in themselves until they get married, and it's almost like they are waiting to be married to feel like I'm now a human being.
Oh, okay.
That's like a mindset that they have grown up with. And that also really affects. And so because a man may treat them in that way, like you are a voice to be heard, you're not a voice to be heard, you're just to be seen, in other words. So the woman is like to be left at home. So in other words, the man is to be sourcing for the, to go out and work and source for funds to take care of his family. But the wife, that's the basic mentality. But that's beginning to change. Yes, because now we have more ladies going into even into politics. I mean, in the last elections, we saw one or two ladies who came out for top positions in their local government. We saw their flyers and posters, and that was really encouraging. So people are beginning to have those conversations. Women are beginning to become more outspoken that, hey, listen, I'm not just an object to be used or to be seen. I'm not just an object of pleasure. I'm a voice to be heard. I have something to offer. I have something to offer my world as well. So that is beginning to change, and we're grateful for that, where more females are beginning to see themselves as people of value, value-adding personalities. Like, I have something to add. I have my own quota to contribute. And that's to also change, and we're grateful for that. And with more seminars, opportunities to engage even on social media, different conferences, more people are becoming aware. More ladies are becoming aware of who they really are and of how they ought to carry themselves, and not just wait to be married to feel like you are now somebody to be respected.
Wow, thank you so much. I like how calmly you gave us the details of that for that particular question. Okay, so I want to ask you, for your husband, which I know is the founder of Alive Church, how and why did Alive Church start? And out of all places in Kano, like, we really, really want to know why Alive Church started in Kano. Yeah, basically.
Okay, so prior to Alive Church just started February 20th, 2020, this year. We're 9 months old, and we'll be 10 months by the 20th of this month. And we're really grateful for all that the Lord has done in this short space of time. So prior to our starting Alive Church, Pastor was already pastoring at Amazing Grace Church. He had pastored Amazing Grace Church under his father, who is also his spiritual father and mentor, for 8 years, since October 2011. So he pastored Grace Church from October 2011 till about October 2019, when he felt, when we were released. So by that time, when he started pastoring, I wasn't in the picture yet. That was 2011.
Yes.
Got married in 2016, so I joined him. We've been doing it together, and on the 13th of October last year, October 2019, both of us were prayed over by our father again, Reverend Olumese, and released to go and start the work that God would have us do. Yes. So Alive Church was born out of a vision. It was, we didn't just start a church because we felt like starting a new church. No, it was born out of a vision from God, a specific instruction from God. And to be honest, Alive Church has taken a long time in coming. It had taken 3 or 4 years now. 4 years in coming. It was not just something that just started. It was something that had in conversations between Pastor Olumese and his father, Reverend Olumese, for a long period of time of about 4 years. So
Wow.
before, so you know, it came as a surprise to many, based on the fact that people had questions of continuity of Amazing Grace Church, but we're grateful to God that because of the long time for the space of the transition, we were able to plan, we were able to, you know, the transition was smoothly done. And then there are leaders who are there who are supporting the work of the ministry still under Reverend Olumese. Now, when people starting a church, they were like, opportunity for us to probably start a life church in Lagos or move to Abuja or somewhere else.
Yes, somewhere.
Then it's like, well, let's support.
Pack your load, pack your load. Yes.
For example, like me now, that I lived in Lagos when I grew up, and then people were like, I had lots and lots of questions. What did I not hear when I was coming to Kano after, as in, when people heard I was getting married, I'm moving to Kano, they would tell me all sorts of things, some encouraging, so many discouraging. But I knew, for me, I just knew that this was what God wanted me to do. So I was excited. I was enthusiastic. I refused to let anybody dampen my enthusiasm. Like, this is what God wants me to do.
To do, yes.
The safest place to be. Because many people had concerns of Boko Haram and the rest of them.
Yeah.
And I say the safest place to be is not in Lagos or Abuja or Port Harcourt or where. The safest place to be is in the will of God. And I knew that I was the will of God. So that settled it for me. Yeah. So what was that? People also felt, oh yeah, now pause now. Come, this is your opportunity. Take it. Seize your opportunity. But for us, it was something we prayed about. We fasted. We prayed during the time God started speaking about, starting a new church. We prayed clearly and specifically for the location, and God spoke to us again. So we did not do something on our own. No. It was, like I said, our church was born out of vision it was born out of a clear vision from God. And so God gave us specifics. The instruction was specific. So we started a life church in Kano because that was the direct instruction that God gave us. And we are grateful for the many lives that are being transformed.
Ogechi, I can't hear you, so I have to cancel you out so that you would join in again. You are breaking. Okay. You are breaking. Even your video is breaking and we can't see you clearly. So what I'll do is I'll just switch this off there, but I'll add you again. Let me just do that now. Okay. Remove and all right. I'm going to add. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Ama, God's love, and Tolu for staying with us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so
this is much better. Okay. It's much better. It's much better. Yes. So we heard what you were saying. You were talking about how it was birthed by God. The vision was birthed by God, and you prayed about it and got your your clarity. So that it should be in Kano. That I like that you also be in Kano.
Yes.
Okay. So how has it been? How has it been for the church, especially serving in the north? And I must also infuse this practically, with the fear, not even with the fear, not fear now, but with the news of different things happening. What am I saying the other day? Just this last week. Just this week, earlier this week, there was the beheading of the rice farmers in the north. And how has it been, starting and going with this vision that God has placed in you and pastors' hearts with all that is happening in the north, and of course the risk involved as well in the northern region at this time?
It has been a journey of courage, to be honest. To be doing ministry in Kano and northern Nigeria is not for the faint-hearted. It has been a journey of courage because we believe that this is what the Lord has asked us to do. And then God has put the desire in our hearts for the people, the love for the people, the desire to preach the gospel to the people, both the indigenous and the southerners that live in the city of Kano, to reach out. You understand? Because, for example, in our church, the majority of the population is the southerners that live around. But there are lots and lots of outreach opportunities that we have taken, and even much more that we are planning for 2021, to reach out to more of the Muslims, you know, there's something we normally say in our church. We say we want to Christianize northern Nigeria and the world. And so we really believe that the Lord loves these people. Yes, because of their mentality and because of their religion, their religious education over time, they see us as enemies sometimes. Not all of them. Because of, I don't know, some of what they have been taught, some of the things they have been taught in their Islamia education and all that. I don't, you know, it feels like, for example, the NSAS, let me just give this example. The NSAS that just recently.
Yes.
So there were rumors. So there were rumors that some people wanted to also protest. Some young, of course, it was mostly young people that were protesting.
Young people.
Around, yes. Some young Southerners wanted to protest also, and so they were preparing and getting ready. And then it was on radio. We heard that the government said they shouldn't protest. So that's what the government said. But some of them actually went ahead to protest. But it was peaceful. It was just a walk with flags, with placards and all that. And so the very next day after the first protest, so the second day, some other people did a smaller protest. But that protest, some thugs who it was rumored that were sent by the deputy governor. I don't know how true that is. But they came to to Sabongeri in Kano, where many Southerners live. They burned some houses, they destroyed some shops, they did a lot of havoc. And so it was almost like this is a SARS protest, and it turned into a Christian versus Muslim protest. And that's because it almost feels like if anything is happening around Nigeria, it will, when it comes into northern Nigeria or to Kano, it will almost turn into a religious thing. So people were protesting about SARS, and it looked like people were protesting against their religion or against the president, who happens to be a Muslim and from the north. So it was very deadly. People died in that week. A lot of people, both, you know, the Southerners also retaliated at a point, and a lot of people died. And I just felt like all the deaths and killings and the loss of lives and property, houses and cars and shops and churches, a lot of churches were visited and destroyed. They were boggled in that week of the protest. So the protests. I felt like it was so unnecessary, but because of the orientation and the mindset that many of them already have, they wouldn't let such a peaceful walk, just that is, the protest was a peaceful walk, but peaceful one, they had to retaliate. That they felt like they were sending a message to them, and they had to retaliate by burning houses, churches, and things that belong to the Christian community. But God has put that desire in our hearts to be here to reach out to them. In spite of all, we will still love them, and we will still preach the gospel to them. We will still do what the Lord has asked us to do. Like I said, it requires a lot of boldness and courage. And we were still here doing what the Lord has asked us to do, to reach out to the city, to preach the gospel. And to be honest, there have been lots of testimonies. For example, I work in a school and I have access. I can see, okay, permit me to mention some names. I can see some people waving and joining. I can see Amma and Grace. Thank you so much for saying hi and joining. We see you, and we're grateful for your love and your support.
Thank you.
So, yeah, and there have been lots of testimonies. For example, I work in a school and I have access. In my school, we have over 700 children in the nursery, primary, and secondary. And I'm just a teacher. But in my time there, I've been able to interface with other staff, both Christian and Muslim. I've been able to interface with many Muslim parents because majority of the children in my school are Muslims. So out of over 700, we may not have up to 30 Christians across the board, 25. And so that tells you that it is almost a 95% ratio of Muslims compared to the Christians
Of
that we
course. Yes.
and many of them are from like how highbrow families around here. But God has really helped me, and we are able to shine a light in a very special way, and reach out to. For example, I interface with Muslim parents a lot. Many of them through phone calls, through WhatsApp status, and all that, and they're able to somehow just be blessed by the message of the gospel in whichever way I try to put it across, because I'm conscious of my assignment and I don't dull. I keep putting things out there, you understand, and I've gotten some feedback, some testimonies, and I'm just grateful because I know that God has put us here. God has us right where He wants us to be, and we have to do what we have to do. And
thank you so much, Ogechi. Like it's really enlightening. Like honestly speaking, beyond what you even think, I'm personally just being enlightened. Thank you. Thank you. I will try to get one more question in before we go. And that is, what is your view on the church system in Nigeria versus the North? And what I mean is, do you think we need, well, it may look like an obvious question, but I have to ask, do you think we need more churches, come into the North to also help out with the assignments? And do we even currently have enough churches? If we don't, why do you think we do not currently have enough churches? Plus, do we need more churches to come in to the North? If you can answer within 3 minutes, because it's almost.
I'm going to give a straight, brief, direct answer.
Yes, okay.
By all means, we need more churches to support the work of the ministry in the North by planting more churches, by reaching out, by encouraging those that are already here. Because I tell you, ministry in the North is not very but we need all the support we can get. Of course, we need them to come in and plant more churches too, especially so that they can reach even the indigenous Muslims and the indigenes who speak mostly Hausa and not even English. But many of them are living in poverty. They are living below the line of being able to eat 3 square meals a day and all of that. Please, by all means, we need more ministries and more churches in cities like Lagos, Abuja to support the work of the gospel and the ministry. Support churches already here, plant more churches, do outreach work, support us, and there's a lot to be done, honestly, because a lot of people live in poverty in Northern Nigeria, and we need to change the story, change the narrative. We need to meet them at the point of their need and give them the gospel as well.
Gospel. Thank you so much. And it's also doubled as a message. So if God is putting this, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this episode, if God is putting in your heart for you to support and start something in the North, I hope that this episode has also helped to encourage you to know that there's work to be done. Just like Ogechi has been reiterating, there's really work to be done. And there's no fear or risk that should be bigger than the vision and the goal of the souls that currently need our help, the best way God implants it in our hearts. Okay, so we are going to our rapid fire question now, and then yes, that is going to be a wrap after that. So it means you can't, in like 30 seconds, you're supposed to answer. You're not supposed to overthink the question. So number 1 is, what is your favorite color?
Purple.
Purple. Okay. What is your favorite food?
Fried rice and chicken.
Why am I laughing? Is it not fried rice? Okay. What are you allergic to? If there's anything. Okay. Okay. What is your best movie, whether it's best movie of all time or best movie in recent times?
Okay, my best movie in recent times is God Calling Pickup.
God calling pickup. Okay. What is your best book?
It's God Calling, sorry, not God Calling Pickup. It's just God Calling.
Okay, God calling. Okay. Okay. What is your best book?
My best book. Okay, my best book in this season is uh I'm reading quite a number of books. I'm not even sure which one to mention. Okay, Blessed
Okay.
to be a Blessing by Kenneth Copeland.
That should be a person. Okay. Were you born in Nigeria? Were you given birth to in Nigeria?
Yes, I was born and given birth to Nigeria.
If you weren't born in Nigeria, where would you have liked to be born? What country?
In the US, in America.
America. Okay. So gold or silver?
Which one am I?
And which one would you like? Gold or silver? Which one would you prefer?
Gold.
Gold. Okay. Black or white?
Black.
Like, okay. Yellow or pink? Pink.
I'm a yellow
Yellow.
person.
Yellow. Okay. Look at it on your scarf. There's yellow on your scarf. Okay. What is one favorite thing about your husband?
Okay, he makes me laugh a lot. I enjoy his
Okay.
joke.
Okay. What is your favorite attire to wear?
Uh, Recently, I'm dressing more like the Hausa people, and so I'm beginning to like it.
To like it. Okay. Okay. What is your favorite thing to do?
To do, if I don't have anybody needing my attention or anything, I'll just lock myself up with a good book and maybe some classical music in the background, play softly and just read and enjoy myself.
Okay. What do you like to do for fun?
Uh, like fun. I like meeting new people. I like going out. I like engaging people in conversations, especially when it has to do with like the gospel, evangelism. Yeah, that makes me tick.
Okay. Small chops or jollof rice?
I think I would do jollof.
Okay. Fruits or vegetables?
Fruit.
Okay. Would you rather take the train or a ship?
The train.
Okay. Bus or an airplane?
Airplane.
Okay. Writing or speaking?
Okay, speaking.
Okay. Rain or sunshine?
Sunshine.
Trainings like large gatherings of teaching or one-on-one counseling?
Trainings.
Trainings. Okay. Audio or visual?
Audio.
Okay. A day at the beach or a day in one of your favorite restaurants?
A day at the beach.
Okay, if you had a magic wand to change the world, what would be your one wish for you to see in the world? What would be that one thing you want to see change in the world if you could?
Personally, I would like to take all the Almajiris off the streets of Kano and northern Nigeria, like, and give
Okay.
them a family to live with, a home to take care of, feed them, look after their health, and make sure they're fine.
Fine. Okay. And finally, what do you want to be remembered for?
Wow. Okay, I want to be remembered for the role the role I will play in leading many people in Nigeria to Christ, equipping them with life that is worth living.
Okay. So did you say the role you play in leading many people in northern Nigeria? I wanted to be sure. I didn't get that.
I'm playing,
Okay.
leading people together. Because I really have a passion.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Ogechi. We're so grateful that you joined us today at the NEL show, and we hope to have you soon again to join us. Thank you for your time. It was very impactful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Yes, bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so if you missed the beginning, you can watch the replay that is going to be on my page, and please feel free to give us suggestions on the kind of topics and interviews you would like to see us have. Thank you so much for joining the NEL show. We would have the NEL show, maybe one more episode before the end of the year, maybe. Let us see how it goes. If not, we're already planning for 2021 episode by the grace of God. My name is Ogechi. I'll see you next time.